If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Coming up on the program, we're going to plant many gardeners' favorite crop, and we'll show you how we do it to make it easier. That's being tomatoes. Coming up next.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored by the following.
It all starts in the soil. Since 1925, Kellogg Garden Organics has been dedicated to providing you and your family organic products that have helped your gardens grow. Our organic soils and fertilizers can now be found at the Home Depot.
MIgardener.com with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, organic flowers, vegetables, and herb seeds, all for 99 cents. MIgardener.com. HappyLeafLED.com, a commercial-grade grow light with a home gardener's affordability. All indoors, no fans, no motors, simply plug in and grow. Great for seed starting, to lettuce, to full-grown tomatoes. HappyLeafLED.com.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. Today we're planting tomatoes. You want to plant tomatoes in your area approximately 6 to 8 weeks before your last average frost date. Now, you can find that by going to your favorite search engine and inserting your zip code followed by, or last average frost date followed by your zip code. Or you can go to your local university extension office or call them and they'll tell you. Now, this is an average of the last 10 years of when that frost date has occurred in your area. This does not mean the day after the frost date occurs, you can go out and plant these tomatoes in the ground. That's simply not the case. This is a guideline, and then you want to plant them outdoors when the soil temperatures at root zone at least 55 degrees and nighttime temperatures are consistently about 50 to 55 degrees. You maybe can squeeze around it, make it if it's a little cooler, but that's a good safe guideline to follow. We've got about 45 varieties of tomatoes that we will start. Now, you can just do a 1 seed per cup or 1 seed per tray cell by itself, but that we find takes up a lot of space early on in the growing room. So what we have done for a number of years is the following. We take trays and cups, we'll fill it with the Kellogg potting mix, all natural potting mix, and we'll plant each container with about 8 seeds. This way we can wean it down to 4 or 5 of the best. Now, there are certain varieties in which we will plant more than the 8 seeds. Giant white tomatoes, for example, we'll plant about 15 of them because we have found in the past they have some issues with getting germinated correctly, so we want to have an overabundance of those. They're a very sweet white tomato, a big beefsteak white tomato. So we plant them in this, we let them set for 4 or 5 weeks, let them get a good established, get maybe some true leaves on them, and then we will harvest and pick out the best 4 or 5 in each group and plant them directly into our root maker trays. Now, this is a removable, molded root maker tray. This is 18 cells here. You can see there's pockets here, so we pack the potting mix from Kellogg Garden products in there, and then we will make and put that tomato plant in there, and we'll show later on how to do that in a future video. And then this will be the final home, 1 seed per cell. They also have solid molded root maker at the same size. These are 18. This is what we found to work best for the tomatoes, is the 18 cell root maker trays. And then we'll bottom water. But first, we're going to start them in cups in these trays here. But the advantage to the root maker trays is they air prune the roots, so there's no wraparound. You get a lot of intense, vibrant roots that are not wrapped around when you're trying to plant. You take them out of the container, you've seen them where they're all tangled up. So that's the reason why that is. So you could start them in the peat pellets. If you followed our videos along, you know why we choose not to do that. If you're new to starting tomato seeds or any seeds, this is the reason why we do not use the peat pellets. Let's talk about another method of starting seeds, and that is in the expendable peat pellets. These are fine. There's 2 downsides to this particular method, and the one is these are peat pellets. They contain no nutrient value. That means after 2-3 weeks of the plant growing, any type of plant, you see the plant kind of deteriorate a little bit, kind of get a little sad looking. That is because by nature the plant has already used up all the energy in the seed coating that was put there in order to get that seed to germinate. At that point, that plant believes or is designed to start pulling nutrients from the soil that it's planted in. When there's no nutrients to pull from, all it is getting is the water that you're feeding it. So you would have to supplement some type of compost tea, organic or inorganic liquid fertilizer. And if you go a liquid fertilizer, go quarter strength so you're not burning the plant, because you're seeing a downturn in the plant already because of the lack of nutrient. By over-fertilizing, you'll see a downturn by over-fertilizing, and you'll see some signs to where you think you're not fertilizing it enough, and you're actually killing the plant that way. The other downturn is when you plant these, this netting, you want to remove the netting because it doesn't biodegrade as it's instructed that it's supposed to do. We still find netting 3-4 years following the plant being planted, and also it does restrict the roots with the netting. So that's another option if you want to go that way. So that's the reason why. You can use them if you want. We choose not to. So with tomatoes in our 45 varieties, we plant in the ground about 100 to 110 tomatoes in the 3 different gardens that we go to, that you see on the videos. So you want to label your tomatoes, because until they start producing or ready to harvest, you're not sure what you got. So we just use plastic window blinds, and we write with a permanent marker, and this is just for informational base. This is not going to go out in the garden and anything like that. When we do transplant them into our cells over here, we will take and label each one of them, or rows of that specific variety. And then you can label however you want in the garden. What we do is we write down, we have rows, and we decide we want this type, these many varieties, and we just get rid of the labels because we know what we've got planted. All right, so let's fill our containers. You can use any type of mix. We use Kellogg Garden Products all natural potting mix. It is it's regionally made, so based on where you're at, you may have some ingredients that other places don't, or you may have not, that type of thing. It's got aged wood fines, it's got horticultural grade perlite, it's got slow release fertilizer, and that's the key here, that slow release fertilizer. Because, like I said in the peat pellet segment, if you don't have something for these plants to feed off of, they're going to deteriorate and get droopy and sad and not be healthy starts when you put them out in the garden. So we're going to fill these up, and if I need more, we'll get more. If it's not hydrated enough, just simply put it in a container like this, put some water in it, mix it, and you want it to be, it'll hold, but it flakes apart. It'll mold and then it'll flake apart. That's the consistency you want. Too much water, going to cause the seeds possibly to rot. Too little water, you're not going to get good germination at all. So let me get these filled here, and then we will get some seeds planted in the way we do it. So go to your local Home Depot online, or you can visit in store, and you can get all of Kellogg Garden products at your local Home Depot. Based on where you're at, they will have certain types that other regions don't, but throughout the season, as more product come in, the HomeDepot.com will update their website with the inventory number of bags, so you can find what you're looking for your particular situation and job. So I got to get more potting soil there. So you can just cut these open. I'm going to use a handy little tool here. It's called the Handy Safety Knife. They're one of the primary sponsors of our radio show here in Milwaukee and heard nationwide on podcast replay. It's a nice knife. Hold on back. And you can see it's got it's a ring with a knife on it. It's very unique. You can get them in any size. Matches your, this is a size 12 here. So, and there's several different styles, for whatever you're looking for. So you just take and get in there, and it just cuts it right through. And it also is really good for harvesting tomatoes, eggplant, whatever. Works really nice on that. So, handy safety knife. It's very good, and you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. It's very safe in that aspect of it. All right, so I'm going to get the rest of the potting mix in the cups, and then we'll get the tomatoes. All right, so we've got our cups filled, and I've already planted some of the tomatoes here. I've still got another 15 varieties to plant. We got a total of 42 varieties that we're planting, about 5 to 7 seeds per cup, maybe a few more, and then whittle down the best of the best, and maybe get 3 3 or 4 or 5 based on what we want, based on the variety. So the way we're doing it, and this is the same applies over here, you see these are not completely full. As you push down, or in the cup here, there is a great deal of space between the soil level and the top of the cup. That's important. So we're just going to take and I'll tap, and these are Jubilee tomatoes. So there's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 there. Got a marker here, and all I'm going to do is just take soil and cover it up. Now whether you cover it a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, whatever the case is, don't get all upset about depth. They will pierce through. Now if you cover them like 6 inches deep, they're not going to, but 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever the case is, they'll be fine. So now, once we get the rest of these planted, we're going to talk about light, because this is important for tomatoes. This is important for any crop, but the correct amount of light that you're going to put on your seedlings. Now, in the tray here, these have holes in the bottom where we can bottom water. It will wick up, as we've talked about in prior episodes. With the cups here, you can poke holes in the bottom, or you can actually see the moisture going down the side, and it's your discretion. You just don't want to flood the cup to where it's setting in water in the bottom, and then it becomes a soggy mess. That's not going to be healthy for your seeds at all. So now let's talk about light. Lights are important for tomatoes and any vegetables. You don't have to have lights to get seeds started indoors. We have done for years, we worked off a west-facing window. We just had to rotate the plants at the end of each day as they grew towards the light. South-facing window, 3-season porch is ideal. But obviously with any job, if you have the right tools, it makes the outcome more successful and more enjoyable and easier. And that's what we have found to be true with the Happy Leaf LED grow lights. We've got our tomatoes planted here, we got peppers there, we got onions over there. You do not have to have the lights on until you see the seeds emerging. So if this is the only thing you're planting, you can wait 7-10 days, wait until they start to emerge. For the peppers here, we would not have to turn the light on until now, because they're starting to pierce through, or a day prior. So the advantage to the Happy Leaf is it's compact, it's small, and it has a tremendous amount of energy that is broadcast to the light. It's low energy input, but a lot of energy output. About $15 to operate these things a year. And you notice how I do not have them close to the plants like you would your traditional tube light. Because of that intense LED light, it cascades such a mass amount of light, and the intensity of light, you don't have to have those plants right next to those tubes that don't emit that much light. So keep that in mind, and it work really good. If you're interested, Happy Leaf, they're made in America, in the Chicago area, and the owner of the company is actually the inventor of the light, so he's not outsourcing this somewhere. It's all made in America, so he's worked with us, and we're working with him, and we can provide you with a coupon code if you're interested. Checkout, you put WVG, and that'll save you 5% on orders over $50. And they have 17-inch, they have 33-inch lights, as well as little 4-inch lights, and garden in a box. So keep that in mind. So tomatoes, by doing this with the light, you don't get the legginess that you normally might get with tomatoes or other plants you're starting. And that is the excessive quick growth of the plant searching for light. When you get legginess, it's inadequate light that the plant's not getting. It's searching for it, and you can't reverse that. Once that's happened, like on brassicas, if you got a really long stem on a cabbage start, you're not going to reverse that. You need to throw it away and start over. Tomatoes, we can plant them deeper at the time of planting outdoors, but if we can get a thicker stalk and a nice healthier plant, that's much better than getting a long spindly plant that we have to bury deeper. Thanks for joining me. Join me again next time for more organic gardening and food preserving. I'm Joy Barrett, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.